My Life Be Like is a game in which you are a zodiac sign and you will somehow try to influence, to guide the life of an individual and allowing that individual to achieve their goals, or yours really, because you're trying to achieve sets of goals in order to score points at the end of the game. The theme is unusual for sure, and at least for the zodiac part, you can think of life as a game kind of like it. Mechanically, the game is a game of secret bidding, a little bit of push your luck, and mainly deck unbuilding, meaning that you will start with a deck of resources, and it's a deck of 10 cards with values between 1 and 5 repeated twice. Each card also has a side in which the value is doubled. And this deck, that's what you start with, can only get worse during the game, never better, and it will be worsened by adding these negative cards to it. We have a track that, luckily enough, is not a roll and move game. I was really worried when I saw the track. It's simply the scoring track. When you collect goals, so say collect this one, I advance by that many spaces on the track. And reaching the end of the track is one of the things that may trigger the end of the game. Actually, for this token, this token is a non-playing token. When we reveal gold cards that we will do every turn, this token called All Money will move by that many spaces forward, by the highest number revealed forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One thing I don't like so much about the board here is that only some of the spaces have numbers on them. I guess it makes it look visually cleaner, but if I am there, I have to check, or there, and I need to add 7, I think it would just be easier if all the spaces on the track were numbered. So the idea is that, and this guy, what is the purpose of this guy? Is one of the things that may trigger the end of the game. When this token reaches the end of the track, that triggers the end of the game. Or when you run out of cards, so that's another thing that may end the game. At that point, we will look at the cards that we have collected. Ultimately, the purpose of the game is to collect these cards. And, well, there are the numerical values that we score during the game, some negative, and then also there will be super important sets. Your player 8 here, and sets will be formed by looking at these symbols here. So, love, house, friends. Incidentally, as you can see, the art is really cute, but some of the topics are definitely mature. Some can be a bit uncomfortable, including you're in a toxic relationship, then you get a -1. So there's definitely some adult themes here. But remember those symbols at the end of the game, a big part of scoring, at least a significant one, will be determined by you having specific sets. And so, for example, if you have 5 hearts, 5 love cards, then you score 18 points. And the same for friendship, house, and hobbies. The more you have, the better as sets. For knowledge, it's all competitive about who is the biggest know-it-all, because whoever has the most cards with knowledge scores 12 points, and the second scores 6, everybody else, nothing. During the game, if you fail to collect a card, if you are the person with the lowest amount of points in a turn, we'll see what that means. You collect a depression token. Each will lose a point at the end of the game, up to a maximum of 5. And then each set of love, friendship, and house will give you 4 points. So that's why these symbols are so important, and that's why I say when I collect a card, I score that amount of points. Then there are game effects that may force me to give the card away or discard the card. That doesn't change the points. The tracker of points doesn't go back, but of course it reduces the amount of symbols that I have to form these very valuable sets at the end of the game. So we have our deck of resources, we have a hand of 4, and then everybody will have this, and then we start playing. We reveal gold cards, depending on the number of players, 3, 4, or more. And then everybody prepares their bid. Now you can choose any number of cards, including all four. And so we found that, well, if I see that you put one card down, I know it cannot be more than five. So we, as we played it, we make both the actual bid and the cards left secret. This way, the cards are small enough that you can do that. You can hide how many cards you have, not just the content. And when you put down your bid, usually that's what happens. You look at the number in the white background and we see who has the most. And who has the most goes first to choose a card, possibly score points. And the second highest goes, and so on and so forth. Ties are broken by playing rock, paper, scissors, which is unusual, but that's the way it works here. A couple of other things. If you have acquired these cards in the past and they are in your hand, you must include them in your bid the first time that you get them in your hand. So people will need to be honest about that. Second thing, you can choose to overextend, which means you play all of the cards in your hand, all of them, and you declare that you overextended. There are these tokens here that I don't really know what they're for, so we use them to mark that you committed to overextend. When you overextend, you will reveal your cards are normal. Then you will draw a card from your regular deck, but this time you look at the side with the solid background, basically twice the value, and you add it to your hand. So right now we would have 8, 9, 12, 10 because you overextended. When you overextend, you also take one of these cards and you put it in your discard pile. It'll be shuffled later when you need to remake your deck because you exhausted your draw deck. Also, every time that you need to turn your discard pile into a draw deck, you will add one of these cards to it. And that's why you may not want to have huge hands of 4 every time, because then you're shuffling your deck often and getting more of these cards. And so this is where the deck unbuilding element comes from, in overextending and also simply in reshuffling your deck. Another thing about overextending is that the card that you draw from your deck, if you draw this one, then it's an automatic failure because this one, when doubled, means minus 99. So this is the general idea. Round after round, you start by drawing back from your deck until you have 4. Everybody selects their bid secretly, reveal them, collect the cards in order. They go to different players. A player with the lowest bid gets a depression point. Adjust the score track there and reveal new goals. Players will discard their bid, will draw back up to 4, possibly reshuffle their deck. And that's how it works. At the end of the game, you total the scores from the points that you collected, plus the victory points from the various sets, and the player with the highest score wins the game. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you about the roles. At the beginning of the game, each player receives a zodiac mat, which you can use again to put your draw pile, discard pile, and also each sign of the zodiac has a unique advantage. Sometimes it is simply related to the cards that are available there. Other times it is a true extra action, a special action you can take a certain amount of times, and then there will be tokens to reconcile that. And again, with some of this totally adorable art that nevertheless can also have a sad and again mature or ambiguous element to it. So you have a little bit of asymmetry, but not too much. Again, sometimes the player will get extra points, and some of the times a limited number of times a player will get to perform an extra action. I think these mats, maybe why I forgot, they didn't seem to affect gameplay all that much, but it's kind of cute because people are looking for their own sign, and then we chat. It's almost like a conversation piece to me more than an integral part of the design. As for the design itself, it is very simple. It is very light. Almost a party game, although without some of that, the creative element that sometimes you have in party games. But in terms of complexity or difficulty, is very simple. Choose your bid, and hope that you did well, and see what you get. And yet, around the super simple, super minimalistic core idea of the simultaneous bidding, there are some interesting decisions that emerge. Ultimately, you wanna try to shuffle your deck as little as possible, and so you're trying to get as much as you can out of your hand, out of your deck. Try to figure out, will that player really need that? Is the player going for that card? Maybe they're not gonna bid too much. So things like that. You're trying to read your opponents and see what they do. There is a little bit of a confrontational element because some game effects, some of those cards, when you take them on top of getting the score, the moves on the track, you also get a special effect such as remove a card from somebody, take a card from somebody, and that can be a little bit mean, but not too bad because you're messing up their sets, you're not messing up the score on the track. It's not as unpleasant and annoying if you were to lose those points. Also, this way it's easier to keep track of things. So there's a little bit of friendly confrontational element, which again I wasn't sure that I was expecting from the cuteness. Cuteness and kind of like sweet sadness of the art. Everybody looks just a little bit slightly stunned and tired and depressed, but in a cute way. But on top of that, it turns out also that you want to be a little bit mean and interfere with other people's plans, although usually it's because you also want to contribute. By taking a card, you want to contribute to your own sets. When you force them to discard a card, no, that's just because you're being kind of like mean that way. Simple idea with a lot of direct and indirect interaction. The indirect being when I try to figure out what you have, so I try to beat you, but not by too much, but without spending too many cards, and direct when I take away your stuff. But it works. It works. Again, secret bidding, very simple, very linear, with some interesting decisions here and there. Those are the little touches with unique effects, such as, again, those of the unique zodiac signs. I don't think they impact the game all that much. When I read the rulebook, I thought the pusher luck element was going to be a lot more prominent, that people were going to overextend a lot more often. But it turns out it's really expensive because each time you do it, whether you're successful or not, you're going to get one of those negative cards into your deck, which is heavy. And so I noticed that in practice, people will overextend only when they know that they don't have any negative cards left in whatever is left of their draw deck. Because if on top of getting the penalty of getting the negative card for sure, you also mess up, you also draw a negative card, and so that was also the for nothing, that overextension, you lose the bid for sure, and you get a depression token because of that, then the consequences are just too negative. People are not going to do it. But again, if I remember I had 2 negative cards in my deck, I see they're both in my discard pile, I may as well try to overextend. I'll get a card for sure, negative card for sure, but I get a chance there. So, secret building, secret bidding, and deck unbuilding are definitely the engine of the game, plus the cute and vaguely sad looking art. These are the elements of my life be like, and these elements make a nice, pleasant, very light, simple game.